Hello, welcome back to Voice Notes, my live journal where I talk things related to a resolute mind. Hope that all is well with you, and thanks for joining in with another session. Today, I would like to talk about meditation from my perspective. Let's begin. Now, I must say right now, I am no expert when it comes to meditation, but I do believe that everyone does have their own unique spin when it comes to meditation. I am here to share my own insights and experiences. The concept of meditation for me is quite simple. I first state the object of my desire. My objective when it comes to meditating is to try to form the bridge or connection between the inner man and the outer man. So there is usually a gap, and meditation is the vehicle to close that gap in communication. I know my outer world through the physical senses, but I also want to hear from my inner self so that I can integrate the two. Why is this my objective? I answer. The outer man represents the matter or physical presence of the self. This presence takes up space in the field of the physical or material realm. This is one world. While the inner man represents the immaterial or spirit presence of the self. This presence exists in the field of the immaterial or eternal realm. That is the realm of vastness and openness. This is the other world. It is in this immaterial world where all the instructions about life and living are embedded, and it is also the place to find the teacher. It means then there is opportunity through meditation to meet the teacher in his place of vastness or eternal from the place of the limited material world. Meditation is essential and quite necessary to meet the teacher, to meet the Father, to meet the Most High One, who carries all the teachings and instructions laid out for living. His Spirit is there in his seat with him, waiting to teach or instruct his children. Now, this type of teaching is unique because though one may start off in much thought, sometimes a whole day can run through and the class is still not yet over. Sometimes a session can run over into days or even into weeks, sometimes overlapping with much sleep, as thoughts flow and they just keep flowing until concepts are understood, clarity is reached, or the lessons learned begin to bear some fruit. Now, when I think meditate, I think to put much thought on, to contemplate, to observe, to learn, to take note of, to appreciate, to become sensitive to, etc., etc. And this usually happens on reflection, on examination of self. Now, I see the point of meditating is to grow into much sensitivity in what cannot be seen with the physical eyes, but it is there. That is to say, it is to gain proper sight, That is seeing the whole picture. That is to see the whole scene and not just what the physical eyes can grasp. The teacher helps feed the student with further thoughts to help complete his understanding of the scene or the entire frame. Why is this necessary? I answer. Well, quite frankly, when one gains the bigger picture to some problem, they also gain a vantage point to be less in a position to be readily deceived. The eye, the ear, and the other physical senses may readily deceive one through the logical mind, because reality is not so logical as one may presume it to be. There are still so many factors unaccounted for, and it would take numerous lifetimes for the physical self to obtain and properly ascertain all that he needs to see in order to fully understand. Connecting with the teacher circumvents this difficulty, or more so impossibility, for the teacher carries with him all possibilities and may properly direct one in his steps in completing his life's course. All this is embedded in the program of life. So now I ask myself, what is the high point towards meditation? I answer, this is the point. The point is not just to connect with the Father. The point is to connect and maintain that connection. The point is not to lose that connection once it is found. One works to his high point when the Father becomes his head and main compass. It is the mingling and exchange of thoughts. This one remains in communion. He chats with the Father, and his Father talks back to him in much thought. One may start off with the verses of Scripture to first find the Father's voice, but then this may lead him to ask many questions. It is in these very questions the Father may begin to reveal himself through much thought. To be in communion is to be in much thought play. But let's go deeper. As head, there is the Christ piece. Jesus, Jesus, Yeshua, Christ, Jesus Christ, the firstborn. It is he who is speaking, and he speaks not only as friend, but as man's living partner. He partners himself to man, so man can be in one with the Most High, the highest of high, to become his realized or fully intuitive self, that is the whole. Meditative states work to ensure that man's mind is forever tethered to Christ's mind, where two minds become one. This is amazing, and it's also very wonderful to gain more sight and perspective about living, especially when thinking about completing life's project. This is the high point that I have come to learn from my wilderness experience, to come to know that I am not alone, that I never was alone. I have come to learn that when man meets and makes back one with his Maker, this is the best type of union that one can ever discover in his lifetime. And I end on this note. I thank you once again for listening, and yes, it's getting closer to the end of the series, I must say, but I hope to see you once more for another session. Until next time. Adios!